with just a dusting expected. With Omaha's most accurate weather team, I'm 6 News meteorologist Brad Sugden on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Schrock Innovations presents
Nebraska's #1 independent computer repair company.
with offices in Omaha and Lincoln. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks, and welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, and Papillion. 402, actually, let's give the 800 number this time. I was going to give the local number, but yeah, we got people all over the country listening now. So how about 866-496-8772? That's 866-496-8772. Those are the numbers to join us on the program today. If you ask a question or make a comment, we will put you in the drawing for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate that we give away at the end of the program here to one lucky listener/viewer. You can view the program at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. I am attempting to view it right now to see kind of what's how it's looking, and of course the audio is that's me over here doing that. And it's all herky-jerky again a little bit. I don't understand that. So we're getting a little herky-jerkiness. I don't know what we're going to have to make. We're not using any new equipment, really, so don't know why it's herky-jerky. Perhaps it's because my processor in my laptop has taken a 10% hit thanks to the Spectre patch. That could be it. Have you guys heard? We talked about this a little bit last week, but now we're actually seeing the patches in the wild. Dell computers, most of them got a BIOS update, actually, as well as a patch for the Spectre or Meltdown bug. If you missed the show last week, the Spectre bug. Spectre is the vulnerability that will allow an attacker to do anything they want with your computer. Basically, anything, they can read anything that's in high memory is the technical jargon. What that means is everything on your computer that comes on your screen goes through high memory. Everything you type on the keyboard goes through high memory. So if you can monitor someone's high memory, you can literally monitor everything they do with their computer. Okay? So that's the big problem. Now, there's a patch that Microsoft is automatically downloading, and last week we went through the list of antivirus products. If you have this one, if you don't have that one, you're going to have troubles. Now that people have the right antivirus, their registry keys have been changed, and they're getting the patch downloaded to their computer, it's slowing things down a bit. And we knew this was going to happen, but we just didn't know how much. Now we actually have some solid numbers on what's going on out there with people's computers. So if you have a brand new computer, if you have an 8th generation Intel or AMD processor, your performance hit will be about 10%, roughly 8 to 10%. This performance difference is measured in milliseconds if you're on a solid-state hard drive. A lot of the delays and the slowdowns, it's a processor slowdown, but it really sounds like the delay is coming from the data bandwidth because everything is mitigated by a solid-state hard drive, which makes no sense if it's a CPU that's slowing down. Why, if the processor is slower, why is it that the hard drive makes the computer less slow? So in other words, if you have two identical computers, one with a solid state and one without a solid state, using the same processor, same memory, same motherboard, same everything. And before the Spectre patch, you clock their speed. And then after the Spectre patch, you clock their speed again. And each unit, the one with the solid state unit, had less of a slowdown than the one without the solid state. So it's not that the solid state is making up the difference. It's that for some reason, computers that have solid state drives are taking less of a hit. Which is good news for Schrock customers because for the last 2 years, every single computer we've sold has come with a solid-state hard drive in it. We were the first company in Nebraska to start doing that, basically. And so as a result, your computers aren't going to be hit as badly as, say, somebody else's computers might be. So the question is, we're starting to see in the service center now. In fact, we had a computer in our Papillion service center yesterday. Thursday, when I was down in Lincoln at the Lincoln Service Center, we had computers on the bench then. I've been seeing the emails coming through from the Schrock Innovations website asking, hey, variations of my computer is running harder than it used to. My computer seems to be slower than it used to. I mean, we get those all the time. Everyone says that because over time, they all seem slower. But things like my fan is running at 100% all the time now. And It never used to do that before this last Microsoft patch. And it just seems like the computer is trying harder. It's getting hotter. You know, what's going on with my computer? The long and the short of it is, Mary, I'm sorry, I was reading Facebook comments while I was talking there. Long and the short of it is, Mary, no, I was funny. Mary, you're silly. Haven't made the mistake with the phone number in a while. Yeah, it's been, a year since we changed that phone number almost now, and I haven't, one time I almost gave my home phone number on the air once. That was pretty fun. Then my wife would have been like, why are all these people calling me? But the long and the short of it is, if you have a solid-state hard drive, your computer is not going to be impacted as badly as if you have a mechanical hard drive. Now, that's the story with the newest ones. Most of us don't have a brand new processor in our computers. We don't have an 8th generation processor. Most of us have a 6th generation or a 7th generation processor. So the bottom line is, the further back you go in your generations of your processors, the more marked your impact will be. People with 6th generation processors will see anywhere up to a 30% hit in performance. And the other generations going further back, the ceiling seems to be about 30%. But the further back you go, the more likely it is, regardless of what you're running in the computer, you're going to get that 30%, with the exception of the solid-state hard drive, which seems to mitigate most of the problems, right? Now, there's a couple things. Solid-state hard drives have become much less expensive over time. I remember years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, when we started putting them in the holiday special, they were something like, $700-800 a drive. It was stupid expensive, and the drives were brand new. The technology was new, so it had all the issues that you would see in new tech. It wasn't quite what you needed it to be. Now these 4th and 5th generation solid state drives are amazing. They have trim technology, so the drive gets a nice even wear. We had a problem back in the day of, when you start your computer, it always starts at the beginning of the hard drive and then works its way to the end. And if you don't use your whole hard drive, you never use the end part, but the beginning part's only good for so many read writes. So it would wear out and your hard drive would die. And you're like, I don't understand why my solid state died. I thought they were supposed to be more reliable. Well, it's because, it was just you rubbed your finger over the same spot a million times and it wore through, okay? I mean, that's what happened. Well, now the new hard drives have a feature called trim. And what that does is it spreads the wear and tear over the entire surface of the drive. So you get the distributed effect, which increases the lifespan of the hard drive dramatically. Not only that, but they're faster. The different types of memory, the 3D NAND memory that was first only available in Samsung hard drives and is now available in other drives as well, has made a really, really, really big difference. So we've had a lot of people in the shop asking us, what can I do to upgrade my computer? What can I do to make my computer faster, perhaps? Is there something I can do to mitigate this damage? Can I not install the patch? We've had people ask, can I not install the patch because it makes my computer unusable? And if my choice is buy a new $700 computer or install a patch, I would prefer to not install the patch. Thank you very much. I'm not doing anything on my computer that anyone would want to see. Classic last words. Yes, you are. That's the trick. So do you check email on your computer? Well, that password you type in or that's saved in your browser that gets sent right through high memory every time you log into your email, that password is valuable to attackers who want to use your email account to send spam email to other people. So right there, boom, right there. And then when that starts happening, Cox or CenturyLink or Quest or whoever not Quest is gone now, that's CenturyLink now, or Spectrum or Allo, whoever you have, they will shut down your email account for that. They'll say, sorry, your email account's been compromised. You need to change your password. And if you keep changing your password and the guys just keep getting it from your high memory, that's not going to be good. You type in the password for your retirement account or your banking. Same thing there. If that password is valuable. Thor, there are no withdrawal functions from my online bank account. Just knowing how much money someone has in the bank is valuable. It helps me target scams, right? If I'm a Nigerian guy, I know exactly who to target and how much to ask for now. It makes it, just one tick easier. Let's see, what else do we have? Anybody who keeps a journal on the computer, anybody who does online dating on their computer. Literally the stupid stuff that you think, I just use my computer for this, that, and the other. It's not a big deal. Or I use my phone for most of that stuff. Well, there's a patch coming for your phone too. Apple users, I think, received it last week, and Android users will be receiving it shortly. That's going to patch your phones. The Safari browser got a patch on the iPhone, so that slowed it down 2.5%. So this is hitting phones too, guys. So if you see a firmware update for your phone, you definitely want to get that. So the question is, what's the most efficient way now that we help customers if not installing the patch is a really, really bad idea? So, and this is just another example of why if you're still using Windows XP or Windows Vista, two dead operating systems, you're not going to get this patch. You should not be using those systems anymore. So this is just another reason why you have to say to yourself, how can we make this good for our customers? How can we help people if all of the avoid it, don't do it, the actions that you can take at home on your own aren't working. They're not viable. Well, we're quoting solid state upgrades in the shop this week. And, I'd say 50-50. Some customers say I'll take it. Some customers don't, because the challenge is, let's say you want a 500 gig solid state. You're talking, for a good one. You can get one of the cheap datas. You can grab yourself an ADATA if that's what you want to do, or a King Dion from China. You can grab the cheap solid states and save yourself a few bucks the first time you do it. But then when you do it again a year from now, and again a year after that, you're going to wish you would have bought the Samsung or the Western Digital or the SanDisk drives at that point. Those are the only three we'll use at Schrock, because they're reliable. They don't break. They don't die. And when we're putting our service name behind a repair, we're going to use parts that don't die. That's why we use Asus motherboards in our computers. That's why we sell Asus laptops. That's why we only use name brand memory. We don't use the cheap Chinese memory in our computers. There's a lot of things that go, a lot of thought that goes into that when we build servers. That's why we don't use 50-cent fans. We use $20 fans in the servers we build, because they don't quit. They don't die. They keep pushing air over the computer's parts. That's what they're there for. So if you're going to use a decent one, and I'm not talking bank breaking here, a cheap solid state hard drive at a 500 gig and an expensive one, there's about a $50 price difference. So it's not like, hundreds of dollars or anything stupid like that. What we're talking about here is, how do we make this affordable for customers? Because you're talking, let's say, $300 for the hard drive plus 2 hours of labor. So you're talking $520 to upgrade to a solid state hard drive if you don't have one already. Now, how much is a new computer? Well, you can get a brand new computer. Now, I'm assuming you're not going to go with the bottom dollar. We do have the Resolute available. It is the entry-level model. It's a $500 computer. Everything is baked into it. You can never upgrade anything except the hard drive. So you can never put more memory in. The processor is the processor. It is the reason we carry that computer is because we have people come in from the box stores and say, I'm looking at the $500 computer over at the box store. Where's your $500 computer? Why don't you have one? Well, we do. And it's the best $500 computer that we could find, that we could put together for you. But it's not the Intrepid. It's not the Galant. There are no upgradable components. It is what it is. You're going to use it for 18 months and throw it out. For some people, that's all they care about. That's all they want. So, yes, I'm wearing a hoodie, Mary. It's the Schrock Innovations hoodie. Don't worry, though. Award-winning service lies under the hoodie. It's like Superman there. Anyway, sorry, Facebook comments again. Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations if you want to get in on the behind-the-scenes action here. And if you're curious about what I'm wearing. It's like the running joke with the lovely Kimberly now. What are you going to wear today? Because people are going to talk about it. And I'm like, I always wondered, it's like radio hosts that put cameras in, like then everyone starts talking about what they're wearing. Do they have to dress up? Do they have like makeup people? I don't have a makeup person. In fact, I forgot to shave this morning. But I shaved yesterday, so you can't hardly tell on the low-res camera here. I don't know what the deal is with the Facebook feed. I'm sorry that it's so choppy, guys. We're on a wired connection now. Everything is on a wire. Maybe my computer took a 30% performance hit, and that's why all of a sudden it's choppy as all get out. The next thing we're going to try is we're going to get off of the integrated camera, and we're going to hook up an external camera. I think that's going to be the next thing, because we're literally on a laptop lid camera right now, and it's giving us this. So we're going to try that next week. I'm going to literally need to get a USB hub. I'm running out of USB ports. Everything's hooked up via USB on this thing. So last night I'm laying there and I'm thinking, what can we do to help people with this slowdown problem? because I know, especially after I do another show on it, I'm going to get a lot of questions about it. People are going to start to see the slowdown on their computers. They're going to start to experience it, and they're going to start to say, oh, this is not good. Or my computer was slow before. Now it's really, really slow. This is unbearable. And I don't have the money to go out and buy. Thor's telling me not to buy the $500 computer. It's there if you need it, but I wouldn't recommend it. The $700 computer is where you want to be. And then, of course, you've got stuff we need to move over from the old computer, because even though you don't do anything on your old computer, if I ran your old computer over with a truck, all of a sudden you'd lose a lot, because you must be doing more on there than you think. So we're going to do a data transfer for $149 to move everything from the old one over to the new one. We can move your endpoint in your secure updater, so you don't have to buy that again if you already have it. But now your $700 computer is an $850 computer. There's tax on there, so now you're at $900. And all of a sudden, $500 ain't looking so bad to keep the old one going for a couple more years. But all the same, I know that everybody out there, myself included, has an extra $500 sitting around. If I had an extra $500 sitting around, I had somebody online take a look at the Papillion Service Center pictures, and they saw some, they may have seen my hobby in the back, my little cryptocurrency mining hobby, and said, hey, you mining much back there? If I had $500, I'd buy another graphics card, for those of you mining out there. But, we all have the extra $500 in the cookie jar laying around. But on the other hand, our computers also are very important to our lives. We do so much through them now that how much is your time worth? God only gives us so much time. You can always earn more money. God only gives you so much time. And so how much is your time worth? So what can we do to make this more affordable? And literally, I decided this last night, so my staff has no idea. So this is fun. This is where I get to hear who among my staff gets up in the morning and listens to the radio show. Because we're hiring, so Overshock, we're hiring technicians right now. I've got a message about Kevin. Kevin's our operations manager. You'll see him in all three service centers from time to time. Kevin has accepted a position with Peter Kiewit. It's a huge opportunity for him. I'm extremely happy for him. We're all sad to see him go. It's definitely going to be a blow to the team. But, we have an operations manager opening. We have a data recovery engineer opening. There's some opportunity to move up in the Schrock Innovations hierarchy all of a sudden. What technician listens to the radio show in the morning, Sunday morning, Saturday morning? Who listens to it? Because those technicians, they may get to move up. We'll see. We'll see who says something. But no, I think what we're going to do is I can't discount the hard drives, because the hard drive is the cost of the hard drive. But I can discount our labor, because one of the things with the solid state hard drives is I don't think you can appreciate how much faster they are until you actually have one. So a clone, for example, from your old hard drive to another mechanical hard drive would take, an hour, maybe hour and a half. Then the time to take it out of the computer, put it into the computer, do all that stuff. That's why it's 2 hours of labor. And also because something inevitably always goes wrong and needs to be updated or check disked, or something happens, or we can't get 4 sectors, because people usually are replacing their drive because their old one's going bad. So we have to get those last 4 sectors, and it takes like a year and a half to get them. With solid states, from a healthy drive to a solid state, things are different. The clone goes faster. This process is much smoother. As a result, maybe we should charge a little bit less, or maybe we can just maybe for a little while to help people out with this. So here's what we're going to do at the shop, and I'm going to send an email to everybody. So if you call right in when the shop opens and say, hey, I want to get in on that deal, they're not going to have any idea what you're talking about, because they haven't read email yet. I tell them to show up 15 minutes before their shift so they can hang their coats up and put their lunch in the fridge and, check their email. But we'll see. We'll see again, who wants to move up, right? So bottom line, guys, is we're knocking the labor in half. Instead of 2 hours of labor, we're going to charge 1 hour of labor. This is a special that's going to go on this week only. So it's a 1 week deal. Now, as you know, this radio show is heard with sometimes a week tape delay in other markets. We rebroadcast it on several radio stations. If this is not, basically it's going to go on for 2 weeks for the people in the Omaha market, and it's going to go on for 1 week for everybody else. Let's put it that way. So 1 week only, half off the labor when you upgrade to a solid state hard drive at Schrock Innovations. So if you're going from a rotating disk to a solid state, it'll save you half. Now, what can you expect to see in the difference when you go to a solid state? We're going to talk about that, as well as some different things. There's more going on in the tech world right now than just the Spectre patch, even though it sometimes causes Intel computers to randomly reboot. That's interesting. And Google says they have a magic patch that they made that doesn't have a hit, and everybody should use it because it's magic. So there's a bunch of stuff going on in the world right now. So we're going to talk about that as well as your calls. Rick, you're going to be up next on Compute This.
Drive Advisor is a free program from Schrock Innovations that monitors your hard drive's health and tells you if it's going bad. Download it for free at driveadvisor.com. Every person listening to this broadcast has either experienced data loss or knows someone who has. When you think about it, you have a lot more data stored in many more places than you'd like to admit. Have you downloaded those videos from your phone, backed up the pictures on your iPad, or even tackled that sometimes daunting task of backing up your entire computer's hard drive? Most people just don't back up their stuff, and that's why Schrock Innovations has one of the most advanced data recovery centers in the Midwest. Equipped with the latest DDI data imaging devices, state-of-the-art custom recovery software, and Omaha's best data recovery technicians, Schrock Innovations has a 96.8% success rate when recovering data from damaged hard drives, flash drives, camera cards, and more. We all know we should back up our data, but if you are ever caught in a data loss nightmare, call the experts at Schrock Innovations to get your data back right where it belongs, safe and backed up on a stable hard drive. Compute This Pro Tip 578. Technology is constantly changing, so how can you tell when the time has come to recycle your old outdated computer and invest in a new one? Experts have rules of thumb and formulas, but Schrock believes the answer is simple. You should replace your old computer when it can no longer do the things you need in a secure way. For example, you should not be using operating systems like Windows XP or Vista because they're no longer maintained by Microsoft and they're not secure. And if your computer cannot run Windows 10, it's probably time to begin saving for a replacement. If your existing computer requires a repair and that cost is 50% or more of the cost of a new computer, it might be time to consider a replacement. But keep in mind, additional costs like data transfers and important software you have to upgrade like genealogy software or Quicken. And also keep in mind that modern computers are engineered to last 18 months for a normal user. And don't worry, you are considered a normal user. Schrock modular PCs and solid-state laptops are specifically designed to last 4 to 6 years for that same normal user, saving your family money and time. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. If you haven't heard of us, or if this is the first time tuning into the show today, welcome. Schrock Innovations is your go-to destination for computer repair, website design and hosting, software development. We build custom software for businesses. There's so many things we do. Data recovery services. So if your hard drive stops working, we can recover the data from your drive. There's literally, if it touches a computer, Schrock Innovations handles it. We also are going to be, we're settling into our Papillion Service Center. We're all moved in. We got all of our permits and inspections. No more hanging wires. We're missing a couple lights up front still that they're bringing in. Apparently, now that we have our inspection, there's no rush. So, it's been a week and we don't have our track lighting yet. But the lighting up front is so bright that I'm not sure we need it, but we paid for it, so we're going to get it anyway. But now that we're settling into Papillion, once we get that service center all normed out and working properly, we're going to introduce cell phone repair and tablet repair as well. So that's the 21st century computer, basically, is if it touches your computer or your cell phone or your tablet, Schrock Innovations will be there for you. We're working right now on exclusive partnerships for discounts with carriers like Sprint, for example, so that if you have a Sprint phone, you go into the Sprint store with a broken phone, if it's a repair that's going to cost too much to do at Sprint, they can give you one of our cards for a one-time discount over at our service center to have your stuff repaired there. So it's going to be pretty sweet. We have a lot of stuff in the works there, as well as a new version of Secure Updater coming down the pipe as well. I mentioned we do custom software. Some of the custom software that we developed, you heard a spot for it here before the break, is Drive Advisor. Drive Advisor is a free program you can download from driveadvisor.com. So Drive Advisor from driveadvisor.com. You can get that. It's free. And it's advisor, E-R, driveadvisor.com. American, Drive Advisor. Not Drive Advisor, driveadvisor.com. It monitors your hard drives and it sends you an email if one of your hard drives is bad. That's it. That's all. Nothing else. If you use Hotmail, Gmail, Yahoo Mail, or any other kind of online mail that filters a lot of spammy stuff. Sometimes they detect the Drive Advisor emails as spam, so check your Drive Advisor right quick, will you? But you can check it down in the right-hand corner by your clock. There's a Drive Advisor icon, a little letter D down there. And you can check your Drive Advisor. 866-496-8772. Secure Updater is also a product that we make over at Schrock. Secure Updater is the program that allows your computer, keeps your computer's software up to date, all of its third-party software, so Flash, Java. Right now we're seeing how important it is to keep your Windows up to date. All these other programs like Skype and Dropbox and everything else, they have patches like every week. So if you're not downloading and installing new patches every week, because it doesn't do it for you, you're not getting these patches, your computer's not safe. It's not secure. Secure Updater does exactly that. It updates everything on your computer to keep it secure. So it's pretty cool there. That one's not a freebie. You can get a free trial for a couple weeks and try it out. If you think you're doing a good job keeping your computer up to date, install Secure Updater and see if it finds anything that you might have missed. You can use that free trial at secureupdater.com. 866-496-8772. Rick is the first caller of the program today. How can I help you on Compute This, Rick?
Yeah, good morning, Thor. Thanks for coming on the radio every week.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you listening. Thank you for being here, because if you weren't listening, it'd be kind of silly for me to be talking.
Yeah. I've had Secure Updater for a while, but lately, this last 3 weeks, I also have Norton Endpoint.
Okay.
The Endpoint is reporting threats detected. There's two of them. One is Secure Updater.
.msi.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that I could exclude that one.
Exclude both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no idea why it suddenly started detecting this. We have submitted samples to Symantec to get it cleared. We have no idea why it's doing this. But if you quarantine those files, your Secure Updater will not work properly. The Secure Updater .msi is a setup file. It's not necessarily needed unless you have a problem with Secure Updater and it needs to repair itself. It needs that MSI file. The other file that it wants to quarantine is a registry key that if quarantine does not, the Secure Updater won't work. So we have a new version of Secure Updater. We are literally pushing it through graphical tweaks right now, and we're going to be pushing that out to customers, and it should, again, solve this entire problem. But we're not sure why all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Symantec started calling this thing a virus. So we've sent them samples and said, hey, can you make sure you stop calling this a virus? We have not heard back on that yet, but basically it's a learning engine. So if enough people exclude it rather than quarantine it, then it'll stop being detected. Now, the other thing here is if you already have quarantined it, you can go into your quarantine. If you double click on your Secure Update or your Symantec endpoint icon down there, you can click on View History and look at the quarantine, and then you just click Restore, and it'll take that file and put it back. So it's super easy to fix if you accidentally quarantine it.
Okay. Just did it, and like you said, I can see it. Okay.
All right.
I was just wondering if this had anything related to the patch.
Oh, no, it's nothing to do with the Spectre or Meltdown patches at all.
Okay. So I don't need a new computer. Thank you.
No sweat, Rick. That's what we're here to do. We're here to help you out. Thanks for the call today. All right, 866-496-8772. Bottom of the hour break. More of the show coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovation's Data Recovery Lab saves the data the other guys can't. The next time your hard drive, camera card, or flash drive fails, let Schrock get your data back. Some people like desktops for their power and upgradability, but nothing rivals a laptop for computing on the go. But why should you have to sacrifice performance for portability? The innovators at Schrock want our customers to have it all, so we created a new kind of laptop, the solid-state laptop from Schrock Innovations. Solid-state laptops are built using the same frame and mainboards as regular laptops, but we've removed half of the moving parts while more than doubling the computer's speed. The result? Laptops that boot to Windows in 6 seconds or less, respond instantly to your commands, and can survive drops that put most laptops into the Data Recovery Lab. Starting at only $499, solid-state laptops give you speed, reliability, durability, and performance for the same price most people pay for a cheap disposable laptop. The next time you're looking for a laptop, check out the solid-state laptops at SchrockInnovations.com or visit any of our service centers. Simple, solid, fast technology is what we do at Schrock. Compute This Pro Tip 178. Those little life-saving surge protector strips are vital to your computer's health and should be used whenever possible, even for laptops. As computers get smaller and more powerful, they're also becoming more sensitive to dirty power, and your power is a lot dirtier than you might think. Even if you have a whole home surge protection, most power surges are generated within your own home. If you've ever vacuumed and seen the lights get dimmer and brighter, you created a surge. Surge protectors can only absorb so much energy measured in joules. When that capacity is exhausted, your surge protector becomes a glorified extension cord and needs to be replaced. You should always look for surge protectors that give audible alerts when they're no longer able to protect your equipment. Schrock recommends these because the lights on most strips are just power lights and they don't tell you when it's time to replace the unit. If in doubt, replace your surge protectors annually to keep your expensive TVs, computers, and other electronic equipment safe. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Fox News Radio, I'm Karen McHugh. Lawmakers in Hawaii plan on finding out what prompted an erroneous nuclear missile alert to be sent out to over 1 million residents' cell phones Saturday. 38 minutes of panic set in until the mistake was fully realized. This resident says there's a lot to be learned here.
I'm grateful. We're alive. It wasn't real. Our family's safe. And, honestly, it was a great learning experience. And it was a great way to see exactly how you're going to react in the real deal.
Ellie Jones, the head of emergency management, says someone pushed a wrong button during a drill. Back in the mainland, another cold snap settles in over much of the nation.
We're cold on the east again, warm in the west until about Thursday, and then we have the seesaw pattern happen again, and we warm up across the east, cool down across the west.
Fox meteorologist Rick Reichmuth. And President Trump tweets that DACA is probably dead. Fox News. We report, you decide.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
Morning snow across the metro will gradually diminish out of the area, and today we'll have temperatures in the upper 20s, but those feels-like temperatures will range in the upper teens. Snow showers possible once again for this evening. Less than an inch of accumulations possible. Temperatures will fall through the day on Monday. We're looking at afternoon readings in the upper single digits. With Omaha's most accurate weather team, I'm 6 News meteorologist Peter Sherwood on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Alrighty, guys. Welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. You can also listen and watch the show on Facebook at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, where Keith is shooting tech support for Bob over there right now. And neither one of them are Schrock employees. Literally, he's helping him out right there. All right, so long and short of it is, Bob, if you want to fix it yourself, Keith is pointing you in the right direction. If you would prefer to have us fix it because it's a warranty issue, you can give us a call in the service center, and we'll take a look at it and make sure everything is okay for you. 866-496-8772 are the numbers to join us. Also, I've had some people pop on and ask how can they apply for any of these positions we have available at Schrock. I have posted the application link to Schrock Innovations right now at Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations in the show. You can pop on there. It's basically SchrockInnovations.com. If you Google Schrock Innovations application, it pops right up. Just Google that and you'll find it. 866-496-8772. Rick is the only one in the drawing right now. Last week we only had one caller as well, right? So we only had one caller. That was like a super easy win for that person because there was no other callers. But if you want to get in on that action, get yourself a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. It might come in handy because after the program, I'll be emailing all the shops and my staff and letting them know that we're going to be running a special for the next week on anyone who wants to move from a mechanical hard drive to a solid-state hard drive. This will mitigate the impact of the Spectre and Meltdown patches. It'll buy you more time with your computer. And literally, we can take a computer that's older and make it feel like a brand-new computer again by changing out that old, slow-rotating hard drive, that mechanical hard drive, for an ultra-fast solid-state. Solid-state hard drives are a little bit smaller than bigger hard drives, like as far as capacity. Like your mechanical hard drive might be a terabyte, for example. Whereas a solid state, you can get terabyte and 2 terabyte solid states. They're just stupid expensive. And what we found is most of our customers don't actually use all that space. So don't buy space you don't need. We can look at your computer, find out exactly how big of a drive you could get away with, basically, and then get you the least expensive option that we have. All right. Oh, Keith. You're hilarious. All right, so I'm reading the Facebook comments. If you're missing out on this, you got to go to facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. All right, let's see. The Stephanie writes, I have several iPad products that have received the 11.2 iOS update. My older iPad is still on 9.35 and is not updating. Concerns or potential issues? Yes, the concern and the potential issue, Stephanie, is your older iPad does not have enough storage capacity to store the current iOS and download the new bloated iOS and also install it. Because it basically has to hold both iOSs at the same time in order to do an update, and it doesn't have enough storage capacity. So any 16 gig Apple device is currently dead. You're not going to get patches or updates for it. It's you can use it as a digital picture frame, but I'd put a piece of tape over the camera, just in case. But we see some weird stuff, like people coming in with Post-it notes over their cameras and stuff like that, or little stickers and things. People don't want to get watched. I can't do that on my lid. Well, maybe once I put my other camera on top, then I can have it be prettier. So I can put a piece of tape over mine too. But I use the facial sign-in feature, Hello, so it gives Windows Hello, and it lets me sign in. So nevertheless, that's what's going on there. Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. 866-496-8772. Microsoft right now is working on the Windows 10 of the future. That's right. Because, if your computer, it's not bad enough. Everyone's like, why don't we have chips in our brain yet? Well, the Spectre and the Meltdown patch. I'm just saying, right? So basically, if you go to Microsoft and say, what's the future of Windows 10, they'll tell you mind control. Now, I don't know if they mean like mind control, like your computer controlling your mind, or like we can control your mind, or do they mean mind control like you can control your computer with your mind? I'm thinking that it's the latter. But Microsoft has been working on a brain-computer interface for years. But now it has a patent for a brain-sensing system that could improve the experience of apps when using gesture-based systems on augmented reality headsets. The patent, called Changing an Application State Using Neurological Data. Oh, wow. That's awesome. What's the acronym for that? CASUND. CASUND. Draws on research using this is like me reading Spanish. Electroencephalography. EEG. It's an EEG, folks. Nodes to measure brain activity. So when you sit down in front of your computer, most of us just grab the mouse right now. But if Microsoft has its way, you're going to strap the electrodes on your scalp and go to work, right? You're going to go to work on that. All right, so this is for artificial and augmented reality. We're not going to see it for years. This is kind of like one of those things that gets released right around CES, the Consumer Electronics Show. 90% of the products at the CES never see the light of day. They never actually get released. Someday maybe it'll be like the Matrix, but probably not anytime in the near future. 866-496-8772. Mike, you're next up on the show. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Morning, Thor. Hey, my son has a laptop, and he just did the latest Windows update.
Yes.
And once he boots it up and he uses it, it's fine. If he closes the screen down and opens it back up, he gets a flicker, and he has to reboot his laptop to get back into Windows.
Gotcha. Now, the thing that we want to test on this is when you have an issue like where there's a physical thing changing, like you fold the screen shut and then you open it, there could be a cable or a wire that is not working properly, or it could be something with the motherboard too. But what I would suggest we do is hook up an external monitor to the computer and then have him repeat the gesture, because it may not be that he has to restart Windows. It may be that the monitor just isn't responding. The actual piece of hardware, the screen, isn't responding. So the computer could be booted up, working fine, and it just thinks you're hard shutting it down for no reason. You're being mean. But if you have an external monitor hooked up, then when you open the lid back up, that external monitor should come to life as well. And if it comes to life and the laptop screen doesn't, then there's something wrong with the screen and we need to replace that component or a cable, or there's a physical ailment we need to look at. If both screens don't come up, then we know there's something going on with the hardware of the main board in the laptop, or the sleep setting. So if you reboot the computer and it works fine, but if when you put it to sleep it doesn't wake up, there are several sleep settings that we can tweak and change to try to diagnose that for you.
Okay, all right. It's just coincidence. It happens after the last Windows update.
After the one that was just like a couple days ago?
Like late December, early January.
Okay, so you're getting this after the fall creators update. That introduces a whole. How old is the laptop?
Year and a half.
Okay, so no, it shouldn't have a problem then. Some really older equipment that's running Windows 10, like circa, and this is going to make people laugh, because for Schrock it's not old, but computers that are circa 2015 and older can have video problems after doing the fall creators update because Microsoft's not supporting a lot of the older graphic chipsets anymore. Because everyone buys a new computer every 18 months. Why do we need to go back beyond 2015? And we're like, hello, Microsoft, modular computers, they're good for like 6 years. Come on now. So we've been helping people out with that. But that's not the problem in your case. In your case, it sounds like a physical problem on a computer that young.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate the call today. 866-496-8772. And like that, Rick's odds are cut in half. Let's see if we can make it thirds. B, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Remember those computers that were, everything was sort of in the monitor?
Yeah, they're all-in-ones.
The all-in-ones. Is there any repair or upgrade or anything that can be done to those?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, in fact, even iMacs, all the older iMacs, oh, man, you should see those. When we put a solid-state hard drive in those things, they fly. We have to buy a special adapter for them that goes in there and reduces down the bay and everything and holds the drive in place. But, yeah, we can, the HPs, the Dells, we can change out. A lot of them came with desktop hard drives in them, the mechanical hard drives, and we can change those out for solid states, and you get the same performance improvement that you would see in any other laptop or desktop.
Really?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and okay, can it be, if somebody gets a desktop, can they hook that thing up to be just a plain old monitor?
Can you make a desktop into an all-in-one?
No. Can you use the all-in-one as just a plain old monitor?
No, you can't. It's a closed system, so there's not a video input on the back.
Oh, okay.
Yep, just a computer.
And how much? Would that approximately how much would that cost to change it out to a solid-state hard drive? And
sure, gotcha. When we're looking at the labor side of things, it'd be about $110 in labor. It'd be 1 hour of labor, and then the hard drive cost itself will depend on what size of drive you get. And the sizes are 128, 256, 512, and a terabyte. So 1, 2, 5, and 10. Okay. And basically, the 128s are pretty affordable. They're about $150 roughly.
Okay.
And then the 256s, they start going up a little bit in price. They're like $250, $299, and then the 500s the price starts going up basically. So you're talking $300-400. You could get a really good upgrade done to your computer that would literally buy you many more years with the machine and speed it up beyond what you thought the computer could ever be again. Because even computers that have the memory is soldered down to the motherboard, we can't upgrade the memory at all. Even those computers, if we put a solid-state hard drive in there, they get faster. And we're talking about, like, when you press the power button, the things that are specifically impacted by the Spectre and the Meltdown patches, specifically it's loading the operating system and launching applications and opening files. Those three things are what are impacted by the patch, which is why it blows my mind. Those are all disk-intensive things. So if we replace your mechanical hard drive with a solid-state, your computer might actually be faster than it was before the Spectre patch.
Okay. Okay, that answers my questions.
All right. Hey, glad we could be of help today for you. If you need anything, you know where to find us. 3 locations, Omaha, Lincoln, and Papillion.
You bet. Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Have a great day. 866-496-8772. Let's take our final break. After that, Paul, you are up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations repair technicians also make house calls. Make an appointment and let us bring our award-winning computer support right to your home or business. External hard drives are handy. You can back up multiple computers to them or even use them to move lots of data from one computer to another. Computer users have been buying the same old external hard drives for years. While our computers have been getting faster, we still do backups that take hours or watch epic progress bars creep by to move files. Schrock wanted more for our customers, so our innovators created the fastest external hard drives on the planet. Schrock modular storage devices are up to 50% faster than Seagate or Western Digital externals and are modular in the truest sense of the word. We can create whatever size and speed of drive you need for all of your needs, and all modular storage devices come with a data restoration guarantee. If you use our drives for backing up and your computer's hard drive fails, we'll restore your backup to your repaired computer for free. Fast, simple, and flexible technology solutions from Schrock Innovations. It's what we do. Compute this pro tip 423. Everyone knows you need an antivirus and firewall program for your computer, but which one is the best? Should you use the free ones, pay for a commercial product, or maybe even the free stuff your internet service provider gives you? The absolute worst thing you can do is to install nothing. Windows 10 comes with Windows Defender, but Microsoft never intended it to be your primary antivirus product. Free antivirus like AVG or Avast are more effective than Windows Defender, but Consumer Reports ranks the free antivirus products in the middle of the pack when compared to their commercial competitors. As for the free software from your internet provider, forget about it. It's designed to protect their network, not your computer. There are two products that trade the crown for best antivirus software year after year. Schrock recommends Symantec products like Endpoint, but the Russian-made Kaspersky antivirus program also does an outstanding job. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back in. Final segment of Compute This, 866-496-8772. To recap, if you're just joining us on the program, the Spectre and Meltdown patches are hitting computers, and we have some more information about what they do to computers. Basically, if you have a processor that is not, if you didn't buy your computer in the last 8 months, you're going to see a hit of up to 30% of performance, is what it amounts to. And it's hitting computers that have mechanical hard drives much, much harder than it's hitting computers that have solid-state drives. So the average drop for a newer computer with a solid-state hard drive was 8 to 10%. The average drop for an older computer without a solid-state was like 30%. So what we're finding is the computers are being slowed down when they open files, when they open operating systems, when they boot, or when they open programs. So if you're doing anything that's disk-intensive, you're going to experience this slowdown pretty significantly. So what we've also found, though, is solid computers that have solid-state hard drives are not impacted to the same extent as computers that do not have solid-state drives. So what we're doing at Schrock right now is we're trying to give you a less expensive option to get yourself from a mechanical hard drive into a solid-state. Most of the time this happens for customers when their mechanical hard drive is dying and they have to make a repair choice anyway, and they say, well, for $100 more, let's go solid-state. That's usually how it happens, which is why we charge 2 hours of labor to install these drives typically, because when your source drive is bad, getting it cloned over to a destination drive can take time. It can take a lot of time. It can take days in some cases. But in this situation, we're talking about moving you from a healthy mechanical hard drive to a healthy solid state. That should take far less time. And so as a result, I think we can shave an hour of labor off that, get that price down a little bit for you. So this is basically good for going from a healthy drive to a healthy drive. This is not a repair. This is like if you just wanted to get an upgrade, basically, to your computer. We don't really... We don't talk about like optional upgrades a lot on the show. Like, what can I do to make my computer faster? You could add more memory. You know, we're not part pushers. You know, that's not what we're here to do. But in this particular case, if your computer's going to if you already thought your computer was slowing down and it gets a 30% hit, let's say this, if you were going to drive down the interstate at, I don't know, 90 miles an hour. Not that you, all right, that's fine. Let's say you're going to go at 75 miles an hour. Let's see, that'd be 22.5 miles an hour off your speed limit to lose 30% of your speed. So you'd be going 50 something on the interstate. if that puts it in perspective. That's the kind of slowdown we're talking about. Now, your computer may not have received the patch yet because the patch depends. You're not going to get it depending on who your manufacturer of your computer is and what antivirus you're running. If you're running a Dell with Symantec Endpoint, you've already got the patch. I know that for sure. HP, I don't have it yet. They haven't sent me the patch yet. I don't have a BIOS update, and I don't have a patch yet from Windows. So it's coming, guys. So as a result, if you want to do this, now my staff does not know about this. I decided to do this last night. So I'm sending out emails this morning to everybody. So if they're a little foggy the first 24 hours here, you know, that's on me, not on them. Don't take it out on them. But basically what we're going to do is we will give you 1 hour of labor discount if you decide to upgrade to a solid-state hard drive to speed up your computer and get it done. We've never done a sale like this before. I can honestly tell you we probably won't do it again. One of the things, we don't charge a ton, guys, for the parts we put in your computer. We make our money on the labor. I mean, that's we sell our time. And discounting the labor, I'm discounting the labor because I don't think it's going to take as much labor to do these jobs. Of course, something will happen and I'll be completely wrong, and then we're going to, get soaked for it in the end. That's how life works. 866-496-8772. Paul, you're next up on the program. How can I help you today on Compute This, Paul?
Well, I got a problem for it, and it's probably easy for you, but it's very difficult for me because I'm more of a, I'm a mechanic, not a technical guy. Anyway, this has, when I run a security test, it says that I have a weak password on my router.
Okay.
And I don't even know what my password was.
Well, that's why it's weak.
It has my username and password, and I don't think when I got this UB router that even got those papers with it.
Gotcha. Now, there's a couple possibilities for password. There's a lot of people don't realize there's two passwords on your wireless router. There's the Wi-Fi password. That's the password that you don't give that annoying guy you don't want on your wireless network. That's the one you don't, you only give that to people who come to your house or whatever. The Wi-Fi password is one password. And when you say, what's the password for your network? Everybody tells you that password. But the second thing is do you know you can change that password by logging into the administrative panel of your router? You go to 192.168.1.1 and you press enter, and it's going to pop up and say username and password. The username is always admin. The password could either be blank, or it could be admin, or it could be password. The default username and password. So if it might be telling you you're using the default username and password for your administrative panel, and that you should log into your administrative panel and change that password. So I'm not going to ask you over the air what your Wi-Fi password is because, you might end up with a lot of people using your Wi-Fi.
I can tell you anyway.
But basically, the other thing you can do is if you go into your operating system, a lot of times you can have it show you the password in plain text. Or on your phone, if you have it programmed into your phone, you can do the same thing. And if you don't know the password, you can always either, log into that console, basically, and use the default username and password to get in there and reset the wireless password to something else that you know. And, of course, then you'll have to reset the password on any device that's in the house. Or two, you can always do a factory reset of the router and set it, as an initial setup again.
Is that something you have to do, the factory reset?
That I have to do?
Yeah. Can I do it?
Well, you can do it, yeah. No, a factory reset, there's a little button in the back of your router. Like, remember the ones you have to press with a paper clip? Like, you have to really work hard to press. This one's not that hard, but you have to push and hold it for about 10 seconds. And then all the lights on your routers will go solid, and then they'll start blinking again. And it'll go through its initial setup again, like you did the first time you got it.
Okay.
But it blasts all the passwords out of there.
Okay, and then where do I go from then? From there?
What's the brand of your router?
UV.
UV or UB?
UB. B, like a boy.
Did you get that router from an internet service provider, or did you buy that one?
I think I bought that one. I didn't get it from Cox or anything like that.
Gotcha. I'm trying to see if I've ever seen a UB router before.
Yeah.
Ubiquity router, Unify Enterprise.
That's UBEE.
Oh, okay. Hold on a second. I just typed in UB and I'm like, the University of Buffalo? I don't know. I don't know if that's what we're looking for. All right, how do I log into my modem's interface? Okay, that's your modem. That's your wireless cable modem. Do you have a wireless modem and router combination?
Right.
Okay. That was set up by your internet service provider. That's why you don't have the password. They set it up for you. To change that, they don't give you access to the router, to the modem, to the root of the modem to log in and change passwords and stuff. You have to call them to do that. That's why one of the reasons I recommend that my customers have a separate router device. So don't use the one. Normally, the one your internet service provider gives you is garbage anyway. But if you get a second one like a TP-Link or a Netgear or something like that, then you can control it and you can change the settings. Because one of the things that all the streaming we do these days, the router will burn out long before the modem will.
Well,
when they're both
the
together.
problem is some computer guru said this router was better than what Cox gave you. So I bought this on my own. This didn't come from
okay. So you own the UBEE, and it may have well been better because if you don't push Cox, they'll give you one of those junky surfboard modems.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so it could very well be that, but basically, if you Google UBEE router, the very first result that I got was how do I log into the modem's web user interface? And that's what you're trying to do. And they give you step-by-step instructions on how to log in, what the default passwords are, and everything like that. And then rather than doing the factory reset, if you can get logged into this, that's where you're going to need to go anyway to set up your modem.
Okay.
So this is the place you want to be to go ahead and try to change the Wi-Fi password before you do the factory reset.
Why do you make everything so simple?
I try. Thank you for the call, Paul. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, Dolores. Dolores, how can I help you today on Compute This?
Good morning, Thor.
Good morning.
I just wanted to tell you how much I appreciate being able to watch your program on Sunday mornings.
Well, I'm sorry it's been so choppy. Has it been choppy for you today?
A little.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to see what we can do about that next week.
Okay. Anyway, I was in Michigan for 2 weekends over the holidays, and I was able to watch your program on my tablet.
Well, thank you.
So I just wanted to let you know I appreciate that, and I appreciate a lot of your helpful information you give us.
Well, thank you very much,
Sunday
Dolores.
morning.
It's callers like you calling in and letting me know that you're listening and you appreciate it that makes it easier to get up in the morning and, 4:50 and come on in and do the show on Sunday morning. Thank you, Dolores. Have a great afternoon. All righty. Let's take Terry really quick. Really quick, Terry. I've got like 30 seconds. How can I help you on Compute This?
We have one of your computers that we bought about 2010 or 11.
Yeah.
Is that okay to go ahead and update that, whatever you were talking about? We have a manual hard drive.
Yeah, well, you're going to get the update whether you want it or not. There's no avoiding it.
Okay.
But we could do the solid state upgrade on that computer and upgrade it to a solid state, and it would see a performance increase, significant performance increase.
And my wife loves your program.
All right, thank you, Terry. Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, today's winner, $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Well, it was a shoe-in for Rick for a while, but now it is Paul. Congratulations, Paul. You've got yourself a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Christine will get a hold of you in the coming week to get that over to you. So once again, I'm emailing this out to my shop as well. 1 hour of labor discount on upgrading to a solid-state hard drive. It will fix the slowdown from the patch that you're going to get. That's going to cost you 30% of your computer speed. You can snag that back with a solid-state upgrade. Don't miss us tomorrow on the Omaha Morning Blend, and we'll be back next Sunday for another exciting edition of Compute This.
Nebraska's news, weather, and traffic station. This is News Radio 1110 KFAB Omaha, an iHeart radio station. On demand at KFAB.com.
Awake and tweeting. I'm Pam Puso.
It was fast-moving, energetic. I mean, it wasn't Thorstradamus, but I mean, you can't have Thorstradamus every day. You gotta meter that stuff a little bit.
You had a lot of
All right, guys, welcome into the After Schrock. This is what happens behind the scenes when we're at commercial break and whatnot. We banter back and forth. We talk about stuff. We laugh about stuff. We were trying to figure out. Yeah, we were trying to figure out, what does the phone number spell? Does our phone number spell anything? And so there's websites you can go to where you can look up, does my phone number spell this or that? So we pop on there, and what did it say that it's? Yeah, something about lick your paw or something like that, your PA, like your dad. And we're like, yeah, we probably shouldn't say that on the air. But on Facebook, we can do whatever we want. Can you pipe down the speaker a little bit? Before, yeah. Otherwise, my voice is already trash, and I'm like, yelling and screaming into the microphone. How long will you offer the special? Myrna, we're planning on doing it for a week, but because of the logistics of how the radio show works, the show that we just aired right now in Omaha is going to be 1 week tape delayed when it airs in Lincoln and every other city that it airs in. So basically, people next week are going to hear the show for the first time and say, it's 1 week only, which we have to honor. So basically, it'll be 2 weeks is what it amounts to, long and short of it. Hi, Strider. So it'll be 2 weeks, and you'll be able to pop in anytime. It's guys, there's no appointment required, nothing like that. You just come on in. We have the solid states. In many cases, if we don't have them in the shops, we have them in Papillion. We can transfer them over. But yeah, I mean, right now, the other thing that's going to happen with this is last month there was a run on solid state hard drives. For some reason, there was a shortage on the memory, and as a result, the solid state hard drives were generally unavailable. They are available right now. But as soon as people start figuring out that you have to have a solid state upgrade to offset this patch, the price of the solid states is going to go up. It's going to go way up. So if you're planning on doing this, I would encourage you to come in sooner rather than later. Because notice I was very non-committal about the price of the hard drive on the air. The reason for that was because I know the price is going to change. So I know what the prices are now because we have them. I don't know what the price will be when I have to reorder them and bring them in later on down the road. We're talking about a $30 to $50 price variance potentially. I would encourage you to come in sooner if you're going to do that. The service centers are open Saturday from 10 in the morning until 8 in the evening, or Sunday from noon to 5 for your convenience. So you can pop in today if you want to. If you would rather, the upgrade will take a day maybe. So it's not like you're going to be without the computer for a long time. So there's no need for appointments or any jazz like that. The clones, as long as your hard drive's healthy, the clone should go pretty easy. Install Drive Advisor. Drive Advisor does work on solid state hard drives, by the way. So it'll give you the same heads up warning. So this is your chance to ask any questions. You can post them over on Facebook here, and they'll pop up on my screen, and I can answer them for you. Keith and I were going back and forth about doing some mining talk here. I've got a fun little project that that I've been working on over at the shop, Keith. I'm building a rack mountable rig that'll hold 7 GPUs, and I'm trying to figure out a way to cool them all in the rig. The problem is I've only got room for one power supply in the rig, and I don't care what pictures you see online. A 1600 watt power supply is not enough to power 7 graphics cards. So I'm still trying to figure that out. But for those of you not interested in mining, you can also ask any questions you want. You can ask about my hoodie if you want. You can ask any non-technical. Next week, I'm just going to freak you guys out. I'm going to wear a tie or something crazy, just to switch it up a little bit. All right, let's see. So Myrna asked, how long was the offer? I covered that one. When I lean into the camera, my head looks really big. I'm noticing that too. That's kind of crazy. By the way, if you could please like and share the program. If you could like this post and share it with your friends and family, you don't have to write a big post or anything. Just click like and share now. And it helps us spread the show. You heard during the program, we had callers call in and tell us, hey, I was listening to the show while I was in Michigan. That was great. We have listeners in Las Vegas. We have listeners in California. We have listeners in New Jersey. I'm very much looking forward to the Vikings game today, guys. Go Minnesota. Sorry if you're watching from New Orleans, but that's the breaks. I was a Vikings fan for many years. It's been a while. All right. So, yeah, Thomas, liquid system sounds great. The problem is your liquid cooling, you still have to vent the heat. The liquid cooling just removes the heat from the graphics card. You still got to get the heat out of the box. So I used 6 Noctua fans to try to do that, 3 in the front, 3 in the middle behind the graphics cards, creating an air tunnel between the cards to move the heat. And so far that's working. It's holding the cards at 72 degrees with room temperature air input. So we'll see how well that works. This is super exciting for everybody else listening, by the way. All right. Oh, there you are. Yeah, there I am. There I am. I've been here the whole time. Keith, you've been talking to me. Thomas was talking about the liquid system. Yeah, so you still got to get rid of the heat. And the other problem I have in the new service center is where my hobby mining rig is. Yeah, we haven't had to turn the heater on since we moved in. Yeah, that's a problem. We had to move the thermostat from the back room to the front room. We had to move it to the other side of the wall because the heat wasn't turning on because the back room gets really warm from the mining rigs. And so the front room doesn't get hot at all. So it's like 62 degrees in the front lobby and, 85 in the back. It's bad. So we moved the thermostat to the front of the lobby and then closed all the vents in the back room so no heat comes into the back except for the bathroom. And then all the heat goes up front. So we're customer comfort is my utmost priority. Yeah, Keith, everybody keeps losing the video. It's chopping in and out. I think part of it is I don't think Facebook really intended their live stream broadcast to go for an hour. So the later we get into the program, the choppier it gets. The other thing, too, is I can hear my computer's it's the classic thing. I can hear my computer working harder than normal. And I have a solid state drive. So the challenge is if it was choppy last week and you hit me with an 8% performance decrease, it's going to be choppy this week. I think part of it is I'm using the camera that's built into the laptop. So next week, I think we're going to, maybe I'll do a test midweek. I'll just hook it up at home or something and do a quick, I don't know if I can do an hour show at home. It'll be like a special edition Compute This. But I do have to record a show, actually, because next week I'm going to be camping. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I'm going to be camping in a tent next week at Little Sioux for the Klondike Camp Out with my Boy Scouts. So next week will be a recorded program. And normally there's not a Facebook show to go along with that. But we do actually, I do sit down and record a show. I could totally set up my gear and do a midweek Facebook that we could boost or post up when the time comes. So maybe we'll do that to test out our new gear. All right, when is your phone repair starting, and will it be all stores? Yes, it will be all stores. It is going to be basically, there's a lot going on at Schrock right now. I've got a new service center that whenever you move to a new location, the systems that worked at the old location don't always work in the new location as well. So we're modifying and changing some things and getting some things taken care of there. So once Papillion is settled, the plan was then we're going to introduce phone repair. We're negotiating a couple exclusive deals here as well. It takes a little time. Then Kevin put in his 2 weeks notice. Oh, come on, Kevin. Kevin's going to Peter Kiewit. He's actually going to be working in Mexico, of all places. He's going to be flying back and forth. And it's just an amazing opportunity for a young man his age. Just amazing. I'm super happy for him. He deserves it. He's a good technician. He's a good guy. One of the things that impressed them the most about Kevin was the fact that he was able to hold his own technically, and he was also able to talk as a human being. And one of the things that Schrock is known for is we're an incubator. We take a lot of tech guys and not necessarily guys that don't want to talk to people. They're not antisocial. We can't have antisocial people. The antisocial tech guy doesn't work at Schrock. But we have tech guys, especially some of the millennial kids that we hire, that have never been taught how to talk to an adult that's 2 or 3 times their age. And if you know how to talk to an adult that's 2 or 3 times your age, you can talk to anybody. Now, don't misread what I'm saying there, but if you can conduct a formal conversation, you can conduct a conversation with anybody. If you're talking in slang and jive and stuff, you're not going to be able to hold a conversation with somebody who's 2 or 3 times your age. It's just not going to happen. They're not going to want to talk with you. So some of these guys, we hire them in, and even I'm just like, I don't understand why, but I just have a distaste for this person. It's like, I'm not a negative guy by default, but boy, this guy, and I got to work on this. Then it comes down to, it's a communication problem. The things that this kid's interested in, I have no idea what they are. I don't like anime. All right. The Lego movie, I saw it with my son, my 11-year-old son, because, well, it's the Lego movie and he's 11 and there was a cat in it. Okay. Super exciting stuff for your 11-year-old audience. I also saw Captain Underpants with my 11-year-old. If you've got Lego toys hanging off your backpack, man, I'm looking at you and I'm thinking, how am I going to connect with this person? How is that even possible? And the answer is over time, I train him how to talk to you, and then he'll learn to talk to me. But no, I mean, who's ever taught this kid how to work in a job before, or how to talk to a boss before, or how to talk to a customer before? Who's ever taught this kid that how he feels doesn't mean jack squat? Yeah, it's a newsflash for some of these kids. That the only thing that matters is how the customer feels. And whether or not you think that the customer's feelings are justified also means jack squat. All that matters are results. All that matters are results. And yep, you can do everything right and get bad results. That happens in life, buckaroo. But if you do everything right and you get bad results every time, you're not doing something right, So we got to figure that out. So when we hire, it's really difficult for us to find good people. It's really difficult because you have to have some technical chops, or at least the capability. We can train you to be a technician. I can't train you to be a good person. Your character is built in by the time you're 12. That's your character for life. You can work on it, you can modify it, but you're always going to be working on it or modifying it. I can't train you to be a better person or to care about people or to have empathy for people, but I can train you how to fix their tech stuff. If you already have those other things, if mom and dad did a good job or grandma and grandpa did a good job with you, I can take it from there. If they did a bad job for you, I can't fix you, son. This is how life goes. All right. So phone repair, that's where I was going with this. Sorry about that. So basically, with Kevin leaving, I was already down one technician. Now I'm down a technician and an operations manager. So I'm going to obviously be taking over a lot of the operations manager duties in the meantime as we hire more technicians. And if I want to promote from one of my other service centers, which I have some very capable guys that can do the work, I need more technicians to put in their places. I can't just take people out. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. So when are we going to start? And will it be all shops? It will be all shops. When are we going to start is a little hazy right now, but when we do start, I know what we're going to do. For an unannounced period of time. So I don't know. And the reason it's unannounced is because I don't know how long we can stand to do it. But we're going to charge for parts only. We're not going to charge any labor on the repairs. So just part cost. Because we are going to be doing mobile device repairs in a different way than every other shop in town does it. And the reason we're going to do it in a different way is because the way a lot of the shops in town do it now, it's super shady. Super shady. Like, they're using cut rate OEM parts and selling them as premium parts. They all know that there are two different levels of repair. If you crack your screen, I can replace it with the cheap screen or the expensive screen. So every place in town charges the price for the expensive screen, but they buy the cheap screen. And then what happens is when they put the cheap screen in, if you come back for a warranty repair, so if it doesn't work, if it breaks, they remove the cheap screen and replace it with the expensive screen so that you don't end up coming back a third time. But because only 10% of the cheap screens fail within the first year. So what you're telling me is you're putting a part in your customer's computer that you know is going to fail within a year, 10% of the time. This goes back to the solid state. This is why we don't use ADATA or King Dion or any of the other crap brands of solid state hard drives that are out there. Yeah, we can save $50. We can make $50 a customer. If I have 10 people that come into my shops to have solid state upgrades, and I save $50 a customer, I just $500, baby. Keith, that buys me a GPU if I can find one at a good price. I could do some mining with that. Woohoo! Oh yeah, sure, 10% of my customers will come back with a year, but I can send the solid states back and get replacements. It doesn't cost me anything. It just costs them time and inconvenience. But then again, it's not my time or my inconvenience. So again, now we loop back to finding technicians that have empathy, that care about people. Some people want the cheap fix, and some people want the right fix. At Schrock, we plan to give you the choice between the two. We're going to tell you there's two different screens we can use. This one has a 10% failure rate the first year. This one doesn't. This one is $50 cheaper. Would you like to take a 10% chance you're going to be back in a year? Or do you want, and I full well know that everyone's going to go for the cheap screen. Everyone's going to say 10% chance won't happen to me, but 1 in 10 of you it's going to happen to, and you'll be back. And at least we'll be able to say, hey, we gave you the choice. Now, this time around, we can replace it with the cheap screen for free, or we can replace it with the expensive screen for $50 more. Would you like to do that this time? We're going to give you the choice. We're going to put you in control. Do you know that when you have your screen replaced on your phone, it's no longer waterproof? Yeah, we're going to warn you about stupid stuff like that before you try to take it swimming or pour champagne on it or dunk it in a fish tank or whatever you see on TV. Because once you replace the screen, all your kids out there that have cracked their phones, if they have an iPhone 7, an iPhone 8, an iPhone X, Samsung Galaxy 8 or 7, they're waterproof, right? Unless they've been opened, then they're not waterproof anymore. So that's a problem. As a result, you really, really, really don't want to get them wet. Did the other places in town even tell you that? Or did they just cash in when you brought in your wet phone where they put it in their ultrasonic cleaner to clean it so it would work again and charged you $75 for that? I understand places need to make money. So do we. I understand that it's hard for small businesses to find large numbers of customers. I've lived that. I live it every day. That's why I ride my SEO guys to make sure that we are toward the top of the Google results anytime I can. But there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. And if you do it the wrong way long enough, you're eventually going to get burned. Someone's going to come along and burn you. Someone is going to come along and say, let's do phone repair for a month or 2 months or 6 months and not charge labor. Only charge for the part. Only charge for the part at cost. Make no money. Why on earth would we do that? Why on earth would we sit down and say we're going to do this and make no money? Well, for a little while anyway. We have to make money eventually or we'll go out of business. Well, number one, we're adding phone repair to a successful existing business that already makes enough money to hold its own. So we're adding one thing to that because we want to get new customers in the door. We want new people to experience that, because if you break your phone and you come to Schrock, when you break your computer, you're going to come to Schrock. That's number one. Number two, a lot of our competitors have a 6-month to 8-year head start on us in this industry in town. We have to overcome that. Well, we're not a low-cost leader. We're a high-service provider, but nothing beats high service at low price, right? And everybody knows if you do that too long, you go broke. But on the other hand, if you do that and you get a good price, you're going to tell your friends about it. If you get a card that you can give to your friends too when you check out to get them that free repair, you're going to do well with that. So bottom line, guys, is we're going to be introducing it sometime probably in the second quarter of this year, once we get everything settled out. So second quarter for us would be after March. Then, of course, during the spring, we usually have a maintenance checkup special. We're probably not going to introduce it in the middle of a maintenance checkup special. So I would say early in March or late in June, just depending on when the maintenance checkup special launches. So there's my very long-winded explanation for what's going on there. All right. Did the Klondike camp out with my boys many years ago in weather like today? I got run over by a sled. I hope there's snow. I really do. Like I was like, these kids are excited to build a sled and sled around out there, but there may not be any snow. But the good news is the high looks like the highs are going to be at 36, 44. So it's not going to be frigid. The nights are going to get down to the 20s, which is good because when it goes below zero, they get their there's a badge for that. What's that called? I can't think of the name. It's when you camp below zero overnight, you get a special badge. But I don't need a special badge. I decided to go get myself a Mr. Buddy. What's a Mr. Buddy? A Mr. Buddy is a propane-based, indoor safe heater to put in my tent. Shh. None of the other boys know. My son would be like, I'm going to tent with my dad this time around. And all the other boys will be like, that's kind of weird. Why do you... Oh, he's 11. He'll want to stay with his daddy. He's not stupid, boy. He's going to be curled up around that heater. Sleeping in the tent with dad at the heater. All right. Let's see here. What are the secure updater file names to restore from Symantec? The main one, Peggy, is secureupdater.msi. That's the big one. Do that one first. And the other ones, I don't want to have you restoring random other things because you might restore something that's bad. So just do the secure updater MSI. All right, love to listen to your points of interest. Thank you. No problem, Kathy. Sorry, I go off on tangents sometimes. I start on one conversation and I end up way over here, and then I have to come back. It's taken me a long time in life to figure out how to run a staff meeting because my staff meetings would just go on for like an hour. And kind of like this radio show and this Aftershock, 17 minutes, right? I'm sure the people paying for the advertisement that's on after me appreciate this. But on the other hand, it gives me the opportunity to talk about things that, just wouldn't fit in the radio show. It just wouldn't fit in there. So, yeah, and like I said, I don't post the pictures of I haven't done anything on my ThorSchrock.com blog in a long time. It's really sad, but the thought occurs to me, like, I probably shouldn't talk very much about my mining on the radio or here because I just do it as a hobby, right? I mean, so like I'll mine some coins and I'm not cashing them out. I'm not, I'm one of the guys that's like, maybe it'll go to $200,000. And if it does that, then I'll cash out and I'll happily pay my 30% tax. Okay. But the tax laws are so wonky on cryptocurrency right now. They're saying that there's the possibility. So like with stocks, you get taxed every time you buy it or sell it, right? With a cryptocurrency, the sell is transferring it to somebody else, right? So what happens if you're not selling it, but just moving it from one wallet to another? What if I mine my Bitcoin or whatever, and I have it in a wallet, and then I transfer it to another wallet? Have I sold it, even though there's been no monetary gain? Have I sold it and therefore have to pay short-term capital gains? I don't know if I should talk about mining. I mean, I could get in a lot of tax implicated trouble. We do have Senator Blood actually introduced 2 cryptocurrency mining bills into the legislative session this year. Made some waves in the crypto communities because for once Nebraska might actually kind of be a leader on some of this stuff. Of course, one of them was the Let's Keep Bad Guys from Using Bitcoin as a Money Laundering Tool bill, with all the classic stuff that's that. The other one was had a little more promise to it, but basically it was don't tax anything that's blockchain. I like that bill, right? I like that bill. You know what? Here's what's happening right now. China is cracking down on Bitcoin mining, right? And I can see my viewer numbers dropping down, so I should stop talking about this. But I'm going to finish my point. China's cracking down on Bitcoin mining. They don't want people mining Bitcoin in China for some reason, probably because they're subsidizing the cost of power. So literally companies like Bitmain that make the mining system equipment and via BTC, one of the largest mining pools in the world, they're moving their operation to new places. Well, Iceland is popular because, as I've discussed, heat is an issue. So Iceland is pretty popular. Number 2, America. Because you know what happens in America? They don't shut you down for being successful. You can use as much power as you want as long as you pay the bill, buddy. That's what it is. Now, the cost of operating is higher in America, but it's stable. So these industries are leaving China and coming back to America or going to places like Iceland because it's cold, because they can do what they do and be left alone for the most part. So if you want to make Nebraska a technological hub, blockchain is the next big thing. Blockchain is going to be everything 20 years from now. Your taxes are going to be paid on a blockchain. I'm not saying everyone's going to be using Bitcoin. Bitcoin is different from blockchain. But long story short, there's a new technological innovation called blockchain that's the next big thing. This is like the .com era before Amazon came along and started selling books. Do you want Nebraska to be at the forefront of that? We need cheaper power, much cheaper power, or incentives for people to bring mining businesses to Nebraska. And we need favorable tax laws. You give us those 2 things and people will flock here. There's a county in Washington state that literally they're worried because the power plant can't make enough power because their laws are so favorable for Bitcoin miners that the power plant can't keep up with how much power the Bitcoin miners need. They're at peak right now. And they ain't running heaters, let me tell you that. All right. Last chance for questions. Last call. All right. Well, sorry about the spinning wheel, Keith. I can't do anything about it. I'm looking at my own eyes closed right now on my own local screen right now. So my computer is heating up the table around me. It's fun times. Last call for questions. How could the state of Nebraska implement their own net neutrality? They can't. Well, they can pass whatever law they want, but they don't have any jurisdiction over the companies. The fastest way to pass a law that keeps businesses from coming in is to pass a law that says we're going to tax you like New York does. You don't have a physical presence in New York, but we're going to tax you as if you do. And if you want to fight us in court for a decade and a half, you can, or you can just comply and pay the tax. That's the thing. Everyone's like, how can we tax this? How can we control this? And the stupid secret to life is don't mess with it. And if you don't mess with it, it will grow. And then people will get jobs. So like, for example, if Nebraska had favorable mining laws and incentives for cheaper power, for example, because power is the only cost you put in, I would buy a warehouse and I would fill it with mining equipment and I would mine. And I would have to have people there to watch the equipment and to fix it when it breaks and it overheats and it goes down and the fans need to be replaced. And I would have jobs created for doing that. And those people would earn money to take home to their families that they would spend on things like snow pants and boots for the Klondike campout and Mr. Buddy heaters, right? All that generates revenue. It's a cycle. It cycles the dollars through. So anyway, that's this small business tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations. All right. So last call. It says a bunch of numbers.msi, probably secure updater, I presume. Yes, Myrna, that is. It would happen right beside the secure updater.msi update, right below it is the one you're looking for. Is Endpoint going on sale anytime soon? We do an Endpoint sale once a year, Winston. As far as anytime soon, this was kind of an unplanned special. We have a calendar for that stuff. We know we do a sale in the spring. I believe our Endpoint sale is usually in late winter, so we're talking February or March probably. for an endpoint sale. We usually discount it down to $99 for new subscriptions at that time. So yeah, that's it too. You can also, if you need endpoint now, you can also purchase it on our website at SchrockInnovations.com. It's $160 the first year, and it's $60 each additional year that you renew it. All right, guys, I better get rolling. Gotta get home to the fam. They're texting me right now. So I will see you all next week, or, well, actually sooner than that. I'm going to try my new camera setup midweek. So I don't know when I'm going to do it because I got to talk to Mr. Voorhees over here at KFAB and get a studio set up. But at some point this week, I'll have it set up with a new camera, and I'll be just like randomly, it's Compute This, yay! And you'll be like, oh, did I miss that one? But it's the one that's going to air on Sunday. So I don't want to hear any complaining. If you watch it on Facebook and then hear it on Sunday, like, it's a repeat. Yes, it's a repeat, but I gave you a fresh repeat, okay? None of this recycled repeat, all right? All right, thanks, guys, for watching.